What's this? My first book, Class of '86, coming July 7th? And it's currently in pre-orders for the ebook version? Yes, follow the links in the comments and in the description to pre-order your copy of my hilarious high school comedy, post-apocalyptic Cold War slasher, as I show some clips from some random movies. I've never promoted a book before, so here's some movies that inspired the book. Class of '86 is also coming in a paperback and hardcover, which will also be released on July 7th. And now on with me trying some sort of food, drink, or snack product for about 5 minutes, and then yammering on for the rest.
And now it's time for What If It Exploded, hosted by Lloyd.
Herman Lay didn't please every farmer he met.
Herman, I said. A potato is a potato.
And?
Said mine weren't firm enough.
Oh, he's a picky man.
Makes a tasty chip, though.
And this has been What If It Exploded, hosted by me, Lloyd.
Alright, people, the whole show is already ruined. I am thrown off of my groove. I'm going to be distracted the entire time because I accidentally clicked on the book promo before the Lloyd What If It Exploded, which normally comes first, or after the little Showtime bumper that I have there at the beginning of it. The little not silent but staticky Showtime logo I have at the beginning of there just so something can be on, so it's not completely a cold open for when it goes live. I think when this goes in the when it goes in the archive, maybe it's about 6 to 30 seconds where it's the little Showtime thing. But other than that, most importantly, Lloyd always comes first. Even more so than my book. But anyway, happy Wednesday, everybody. I think I can probably get back on track, or hopefully not. I'm never on track in any of these. It is in the chat. They've already pointed out it is the yammering with the cinema snob. Okay, so that's what I need, coffee, because we got Happy Wednesday. We're going to be sitting here eating some chips. Said every soon-to-be stay-at-home dad ever. I knew I had to get my hands on these. Like, they have when Lay's puts out like their collection of limited flavors, sometimes it's like Taste of America or Taste of the World, or we're releasing bratwurst and beer cheese flavor again. Or I'm just sitting there going, actually, I just really want some sour cream and onion, thank you. They do this so you'll go to multiple stores to find them. I'm sure it's the same for some of you people out there too. Maybe you could vouch for me on this, where it doesn't matter what store you go to around you. Like, they'll have maybe all but one of the flavors. Even if this time, where it's only 3, it is BLT sandwich, Cuban sandwich, and the buffalo chicken sandwich. Made sure to open them all beforehand too, so I don't embarrass myself too much. The one that I hope is the best is clearly the BLT one, because it's the largest bag. Since I got screwed with the Whopper Doritos, where it's kind of nasty, that I'm stuck with like 3 bags of it. Well, until I give them to Doug. He said he'd take the extra bags. So if any of these turn out to be gross, same thing. I'll just put them in a bag, ship them on off to Doug. So in my case, the one that was the hardest to find was the buffalo chicken one. Like the corner store we have over here, even the closest grocery store that we have, they had tons, just like tons of BLT and the Cuban ones. With the Cuban ones, they had quite a bit, like big bags and small bags. I was like, I'll go ahead and take the small bag, just in case I don't like it. I don't know. If they had a smaller bag of the BLT ones, I probably would have taken the smaller of those too. Again, just on the off chance that I might dislike them, which I probably won't. So since they didn't have the buffalo chicken ones at any of the stores that are like in walking distance to me, well, that's when I just load up the app and be like, what store around me will deliver me a bag of buffalo chicken chips? Now, I know I made the mistake with the icy cereal, where it was like the only thing that I tried ordering from Sam's Club, and then when they didn't have it, I had to be like, I'm so sorry, I have to cancel the order. I made sure with these that, again, in case they didn't have it, there was other stuff I needed from the store. So I wouldn't be like, oh, they didn't have my buffalo chicken baked chips. That was all I had to look forward to today. Gonna need to cancel the order and cancel the rest of my plans for the afternoon. So, since that one was the most adventurous one to order, oh, spoiler, they had it. Tony's Fresh Market, I believe, is where I got these. It looked like they had it at quite a few places that would have been more than happy to deliver it to me, just none in walking distance. So I'm making it easy on the Good Samaritans out there who write the time code for when I try the thing on here. They write it in the comments. Make it easy. We're doing it at the very beginning of the show. So, okay, this is buffalo chicken sandwich baked glaze, so it's better for me. That is really good. Oh, man. Now I don't know how much I taste chicken necessarily, but buffalo, yeah, a very, 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 very mild, light spice to it. Nothing major, just incredibly mild. Very good. If you like, if you like dipping your nuggets in some buffalo sauce, which I do, these are good. Now that I know what these taste like, man, if I did try ordering these knowing what I know now, future me, I would have burst out into tears if Tony's Fresh Market didn't have these. I mean, I guess I'll go for the sour cream and onion, but again, they really ruined now that I know how delicious they are. Okay, let's see if the others are going to match up to that. Go for the big one right here, the BLT. Hang on. All right, I can eat just one because I'm trying to get the taste. It's subtle. It's really, really, really subtle. Yeah, it's kind of what I figured it would be. I mean, the taste is not as strong as I thought it would be, but I mean, it's not bad. But it's just a very it's a faint bacon taste. It's in that regard, it's a little what I thought it would be. In that, I had a feeling I'd mostly be able to taste the bacon in it. Sometimes I feel like I've had BLT chips before where it balanced the ingredients. Well, I feel like I did have something where that was the case. Maybe it was a chip. I can't remember. I've had so much. I know it wasn't the Billy Beer. I know it wasn't the Reggie Bar. Something BLT I had, maybe a BLT Martini or something. They're okay. It could be stronger. Like, even if the taste of it is just primarily going to be bacon, it could be a little bit stronger than what it is. The other, I've had the bacon mac and cheese chips. Maybe that's the ones I'm thinking of. I've had the bacon mac and cheese chips. Those had a stronger taste than this. These are fine. It's just like I feel like I need to, with it being a BLT, maybe it would be very good crushed on an actual BLT. That doesn't sound that bad, actually. Or I could just dip it in some mayonnaise or something. Either way, that might improve these a little. It's not gross. It's not bad. Just not that much of a taste to it. So, all right. Now let's go for a different style. All three different styles of Lay's we have here. The regular with the BLT. The baked with these. They went wavy with the Cuban sandwich. Been a long time since I've had an actual Cuban sandwich, but 30 seconds since I've had chips, so let's see how this goes. That is really good. I like it. This one is kind of the, I guess, sort of better version of the BLT one. Not that they taste alike or are supposed to taste alike, but these, I can kind of taste most of the ingredients on here. Between definitely the pickle aspect of it, and if you've seen this show before, you know I'm not the biggest fan of pickles on things, but I don't get grossed out by them so much anymore because I've had so many pickle flavored things on this show now. So I don't really get grossed out by it necessarily, but I don't eat them on a sandwich really. But sometimes if it is chopped up in something or like a relish or something like that, it depends on what it is. Then I'm fine with it. With this, with it being part of this like ingredients that includes like kind of a ham taste, a little of the pork, a little bit of the Swiss, a little of the mustard. Like the mustard and the pickle is mostly what I'm kind of getting out of it. And it works. I like it. I mean, I guess if anything, I just appreciate that it's a much stronger taste than the BLT ones. No, all three of these are, well, I'm not going to say go out and grab the BLT ones, but I mean, they're not terrible or anything. But the Cuban ones and the buffalo chicken, those are worth picking up. These are the ones I'd get again. I would totally buy the buffalo chicken sandwich again. These are my favorite out of all three. But I got to do the thing. I got to do the thing where I do some real science on here. Put all three of these together. It's gonna, it might get a second what if it exploded on here. Okay. All three of the chips together. Let's see which one wins. I had to duck down. That way, see, it's still dignified if I just duck off camera. They are fighting with each other so much that I'm hard pressed. I'm hard pressed to figure out what it. Okay, there's a little bit of the heat from the buffalo one. I guess I mainly taste the buffalo one. Certainly not the BLT ones like that. Although that would actually be kind of funny if. Well, that's what brings out the flavor of the BLT. When you put a BLT sandwich on a buffalo chicken sandwich and on a Cuban. And smoke a cigar afterwards. That brings out the flavor. No, yeah, it's the pickle and the buffalo chicken when you put all three of them together. Thus ends that experiment. Okay, yeah, no, these are. I will be sorry, Doug. They're not gross. You can't have them. But plenty of Whopper chips left. Oh my God, these are the better sandwich chips, and I didn't have to import them from the UK. No, two of them I got across the street, then had to do a little bit of a delivery on one, but it didn't have to cross any oceans. That just makes it even more sad that the Burger King chips weren't very good. All right, get your super chats in there. I already see a few listed in there, and soon enough we'll be getting to those. But first, there's plenty more I can talk at length about, or at least maybe it would be 5 minutes worth of material, but draw it out for an hour or more. Well, I should talk about my book. I've got my first physical copy of the book right here. Oh yes, it actually came in the mail right after I was streaming on Monday. I figured that was going to happen, but I had to stream a little bit early on Monday because finishing up editing the 1983 in film episode. I'm almost done editing the November part of it. I'll be editing the December part tomorrow. It'll be over on our Patreon once it's all put together, and it'll be on Patreon for probably a couple weeks or more, to just, so we can keep an eye, make sure it doesn't get flagged for anything or hit with copyright or anything like that. But that's over at patreon.com/thecinemasnob, where you'll be able to see that. But I don't want to promote that right now. I got to promote that this is over in pre-orders. Well, not that this is the paperback. The paperback and the hardcover aren't going to be in pre-orders. But the ebook is. I guess for whatever reason you can't do pre-orders on. It's like not an option on there. You can only do pre-orders on the ebook. But that is going on there. There's links in the description and the comments and in the description if you want to pre-order that. It comes out on July 7th. So I love having this right here. One, it's just like surreal that I'm holding it and everything, and it's really, really kind of cool. But there is a couple of things about it. This is the proof copy that I ordered. You just kind of flip through it and make sure everything was okay. But I wanted to have like a couple of little differences to it, to where it's like, this one's uniquely mine. If the book does well, it's like a collector's item that I got, the only one that looks like this, where the actual book, well, one, it doesn't have the little, like, not for resale thing on there, but my name doesn't look like this on the actual book. This was just like a temporary thing I put on there and then had the proof copy sent to me. It looks a lot better on the actual book. You can see that now over on the Amazon page for it. But yeah, on the actual book, it doesn't have this like meme font right there for my name. So I flipped through it, and it's always good when you've got the proof copy sent to you, so you can make sure everything is okay. So when you get the actual book, the actual book will have like a little in memory of Chloe and Lloyd at the beginning of it. So the other day, I opened it. You guys will like this a lot. I opened it up the other day. I instantly, I'm like, okay, all right, it's all in the margins. Everything's cool. Everything, it looks fine. And then I look at it and I go, wait a minute, aren't books supposed to have page numbers? I mean, it's been a while since I read a book, but I feel like they didn't get rid of page numbers. I guess maybe so many people use bookmarks now, they don't really need page numbers anymore. My dumbass thought that it'll automatically have the page numbers to it. It was a really, really easy fix. Really easy fix. All it was just a click of a button. And I got the page numbers added to it and everything. So yeah, my copy right here, the page numberless copy. Awesome. No, it's so cool to have. Can't wait for no reason. Can't wait for Laura to read it, just because I always picture that scene from Funny Farm in my head. Great freaking movie. I always picture that scene from Funny Farm in my head when Chevy Chase writes his book, The Big Heist, and for their anniversary, he gives his wife the first 50 pages or something like that, or the first few chapters, and she hates it so much she just begs him to burn it, and then he throws it in the fireplace in the scene, and then changes his mind and gets it out and stomps it, and still tries he tries cutting the burnt pieces off of it. It's gonna happen. Laura said, burn it. Well, there is an explosion on there. That's why it's got to be. There is the explosion on there. One that goes right along with the 1983 movies I've been editing on there. Today was the portion where I edited the part on the day after, and Testament as well. Oh, and the big score with Fred Williamson, that ends with the trunk of a car exploding. So yeah, well, if you want to get your pre-order, again, for the ebook version, it's over on Amazon. Link is over there in the description. Now, if you watched the show on Monday, I did it Monday afternoon because I had a Regal mystery movie at 7, and I was sitting there confident on the live stream, oh, it's going to be Insidious. I just have a feeling it'll be Insidious. The rating is the same. Insidious comes out in like a couple of weeks, which seems to be about the time frame between release and when we get the mystery previews. Like, it'll be Insidious, man. Pfft, I don't even need to go. I mean, well, I do need to go because I got to, whatever it is, I got to watch it and review it. So you probably noticed when I put up the movie review yesterday for Theater Camp that it was not Insidious 5. It's the 5th one, right? It is not Insidious 5. No, it was I'd never even heard of this movie before. It was the movie Theater Camp. It was a packed house, and I guarantee you no one else in that theater also thought it was going to be Theater Camp. I don't think I was the only one there who thought it was going to be Insidious. So, if you saw my review for Theater Camp, I wasn't big on it, but it's in that category of, I have a feeling if you were really into theater, or you were a theater kid, maybe you even went to Theater Camp, you would probably really like it. And that's a lot of the feedback on it that I've gotten to. Like, you'll probably get all of the in-jokes that are in it. There was a lot that was over my head. Like, I did sort of chalk that one up to, I don't think I'm the audience for this mystery movie, so I couldn't really get into it. And neither could the audience that I was there with. There were some walkouts. I quote, which I've seen that before at a lot of these mystery movies where most of them I've seen like walkouts for. If they immediately, I did at Spirited, the Will Ferrell Ryan Reynolds Christmas movie that was a musical. Yeah, when I think during the first musical number in it, I saw some walkouts that they weren't big fans of that particular mystery movie. That movie I thought was like kind of okay. Like, it was better than I thought it was going to be. So usually there is stuff like people take the gamble, and when they don't like the reveal, they don't like the card turn, they're like, yeah, no, we're out. The guy sitting next to me, who I quoted in my review, who was sitting next to me, who did, like, when the banner came on screen that looked like the movie poster, and he was just like, is this the movie? That guy left like 30 minutes into it. He didn't leave right away. He left about 30 or maybe 40. I'm not sure. It wasn't at the very beginning. He gave it a little bit of a chance before he and his girlfriend, I guess, like the two of them left. So did some people sitting in front. But again, if you look at the trailer for it, and you like the trailer and you think it'd be your thing, you'll probably like it. You'll probably like it just fine. I think it comes out July 14th. So, didn't see Insidious 5. I guess I'll see that in a couple of weeks when it comes out. I've got Indiana Jones tomorrow, and that movie's about 2.5 hours. I might try to squeeze in something else, but at the least I'll be at that movie tomorrow. Depends on how burnt out I am when I'm editing the December part of 1983. But I did say last time on Monday, where I said I got a couple of things that I could rant about. One being we also got an early viewing of Is It Cake Season 2, which comes out that weekend. I talked a bit about that on Monday's episode. I said there's a couple things I could rant about. I could talk about Is It Cake Season 2. Or I could talk about Season 2 of And Just Like That. Both, I'm sure all of you are planning on watching on this channel that talks about exploitation films. My taste in TV is like not what you'd think it would be. I do really, really love cooking shows. And one of my favorite shows is Sex and the City. So that works out. It's one of Laura's favorite shows too. So when we watched In Just Like That, Season 1, and we watched the whole thing, so I was planning on doing a snob episode of that, because I did a snob on the two movies, the two Sex and the City movies, and I was planning on also doing that with In Just Like That, where it kind of like I did with The Stand, like The Stand, the one that James Marsden was in, where that was like a almost 2-hour snob episode. Then I think it was like 3 episodes in for In Just Like That, and we watched the whole thing, it was like a few episodes in where I was like, I don't want to dedicate this much time to this. I can't. I was like, I don't even know how much material I can get out of it and what material I could get out of it. I don't know if I want to. So I was just sort of like, I already have kind of a headache watching this. I don't. I changed my mind. I won't be. Maybe a binge watch. Maybe like a binge watch of that would be fine. But so the first couple of episodes of And Just Like That, I was with it when it was. So spoiler. I hope you people out there even know 5% of what I'm even talking about or referencing right now. So in the first episode, again, spoiler alert, when Big dies, I was at one, I thought that was going to happen because it seemed like I'd always heard that if they had done a third movie, that was going to be the plot of it. So then when they did this series, I go, I'll bet you that's what's going to happen. They're basically making a season out of some things they were probably going to do in a third film. So Big dies. And I was watching going like, that's a good way to take this, where suddenly you have Carrie, who's now in her 50s, suddenly single and then having to go through grief and then slowly but surely entering the dating world again. And then you're a columnist who really has been putting all your stuff out there for decades now. Now, will that also happen with this tragedy she's going through? So there was a lot of interesting ways they could take it, and they kind of drop it about a couple of episodes in to where it was an obligation whenever a new episode went up. Like, I'd be sitting there, Laura would be like, well, we've got a new episode of And Just Like That. And I would be like, okay, sure, if we must. And she's like, we got to be completists. We got to watch all of it. I'm like, yeah, I know. We got to watch all of it and everything. It was a lot. What would make it harder to get through was something that already kind of has a lot of problems. One of them being every episode is like 20 minutes too long, whereas the original series average is about 30 minutes an episode. And then on this, they're about 45 minutes to an hour. And like every scene, you could see where trimming could be. You could see where every scene I was watching could be cut. And then it makes the mistake that a lot of things like these do, a lot of these reboots, when they bring back an old property and update it, it makes the mistake of, I don't give a rat's ass about the new characters. I don't. But at least in season 1, the new characters, sure, they sort of tied into the main characters a little bit, at least enough to where it's like, I don't care about them, but all right, they link with the characters enough, I guess, from what I remember. So season 2 just came out. At least the first couple of episodes of season 2 came out. And I wasn't telling Laura that it was out, and she wasn't telling me that it was out. Hopefully counting on that neither of us would ask. We could just pretend we know it's there, but we can pretend it's not there. But she was eventually like, well, the new Sex and the City is back, should we watch it? I'm like, oh. She's like, come on, complete us, man, complete us. I'm like, yeah, that's true, we made it this far. We were with the girls during their Abu Dhabi trip in part 2 with the Dolce & Gabbana under the burqas and the running into Aiden and also a shoe store in this country across the globe. But anyway, that's a different property. So anyway, we watched the 2 episodes last weekend, and I said like, well, and it was me this time who goes, well, I guess we could get these out of the way, these 2 episodes out of the way. And Laura goes, oh, I don't really want to. And I'm just like, but completist, honey. She's like, yeah, I know. All right, let's go ahead and do this. We watched that first episode, man. I sat there like silent through it, which is totally what you want in a comedy. I'm sitting there silently watching it, not really mad, not really that passionate about it either. I'm surprised I'm getting this much material out of it. So I'm kind of just like, I'm just watching it, just like a show is happening in front of me. And then that first episode ends, and we watch both of them. That first episode ends, and I just kind of went, what was the plot of that? It's a whole episode, both of them, episodes of B plots. I say to Laura, I go, if I was writing a TV guide synopsis of this, I don't know what I would write. I don't even know, even in an ensemble show, there's usually, or not usually, there is like at least the A plot or something about it you remember. Like, you know, like Seinfeld. Maybe you don't remember every plot in the episode, but you remember the soup Nazi part of it. And, oh yeah, that was the schmoopy episode too. So you can remember more than one thing about it. These, I'm like, what would I even write for the second episode? Like Miranda loses her phone at one point and has to look through bags of seaweed. One of the new characters doesn't get along with her mother-in-law. So the reason why this is so cluttered is because the new characters are still there. So you have like 7 main characters in this. None of the plot lines connect with each other. It is like you're watching Carrie, Miranda, Charlotte do their thing, and every now and then another show comes in with another plot. The new characters are so not linked to the main characters anymore. I had to ask Laura, where I went, how does she factor into all this again? And it's always something like, oh, their kids go to school together, or, oh, she was Miranda's professor, but now Miranda's not even living in New York anymore. I don't know why this character's still here, and that we're getting this much plot out of it. Well, we're not getting plot out of it, but still, I don't know why that character's here. The best way I could put this is just imagine you're watching the original series, and when like Skipper leaves in season 2, if we just kept following him and you made the show an hour long and dedicate 20 minutes to him, picture any character that maybe at one point tied in with the character, and then their story's done, but we still keep following them. They're still there, and just like, you know, if Jack Berger is just randomly still inserted into everything. Even if you don't watch the show, I mean, you can probably pick up what I'm saying if you apply that to about any show like this that has an ensemble cast of characters, a sitcom, whether you're talking about Seinfeld, whether you're talking about Friends. Like, you know, we just still keep following Janice, even though she and Chandler broke up for the 3rd time. That's what this is. And then even new characters that do tie in, that are connected, still aren't very good. Like, you've got like Charlotte's daughters, who one of them is wearing like $10,000 worth of clothes, but is singing a mopey song about privilege. Charlotte is trying to get on a gown so they can go to the Met Gala, and she needs her daughter's help in getting in this gown, and one of her other daughters starts yelling at her about the patriarchy or something. Like, man, it's gonna be. I'll keep you guys updated with the rest of the episodes. So again, whole show of B plots, but there was a couple of things that were unintentionally hilarious about it. One being, so Carrie is like a call-in show host now because she's taking Frasier's old slot, I guess. So she's doing like a self-help call-in show. She doesn't want to do an ad at one point. It's like an ad for vaginal wellness, and she doesn't want to do it. And her not doing this puts the whole station out of business. That's like how the second episode ends. Carrie loses her radio show, and so does everyone else in the building. They are out of a job. The business is shut down because apparently Carrie wouldn't read an ad. That's what they told her. Maybe the manager was lying, but that's what the manager told her. And then here's another great thing. So there's a character in it named Che. She's in just like that season 1 as well. Her character's a stand-up comedian, and she's dating Miranda. And at one point, I saw a lot of people making fun of this online too. It shows her doing stand-up at one point, and her stand-up, it just shows a little bit of it. It shows the end, where she's giving stand-up at the Comedy Store, and the joke she says is, things have gotten so lazy here in LA, I take an Uber from the bedroom to the living room. Okay, that's my set, people. Good night, everybody. Thanks for coming out. That joke was her closer. Like, that is not really an opening joke, nor is it is definitely not a closer. That is just a random, like, transition joke that you would make from one big joke to another in the middle of your set or something. Not the thing you're closing on. That is like, first of all, that's kind of I feel like I've heard that joke before. That is like, you're standing up there you're doing stand-up, and you're just like, yeah, man, you know, her mother is so fat, when she lays around the house, she lays around the house. Anyway, that's it, people. Good night. Thanks for coming. Take care. Oh, it's been fun, people. And this is her stand-up in it is apparently so impressive to network executives, they've given this character a sitcom. That's one of the many plots in it, where it's a sitcom. She's working on a sitcom in which Tony Danza is in, and just like that, as himself. Which I actually shouldn't complain about that being a bad joke for a closer, because a lot of scenes in this have bad closing jokes to them, like Anthony saying, I would like to go to the Met Ball, but, you know, I just like balls, and that's how that scene ends. One scene where they're talking to Tony Danza has a character going, I'll have dinner with you, Tony Danza. After all, you're the boss, and that's how that scene ends. So, Tony Danza's plot in this is that he wants to back out of Che's show because he's afraid of getting canceled because he's playing a Mexican on the show, and he's not Mexican. He's Italian. So he tries getting her to rewrite the character to make her character Italian so he can be Italian and stay in the show. That's a Tony Danza plot in this. Tony Danza as himself is in this. But I like Tony Danza, so I mean, it's not like he's bad in it. This is the one thing that makes me want to keep watching this, so it will eventually get to this fake sitcom that they're making. I want to see what this fake sitcom looks like in it. It's going to be the best fake sitcom on a show since Joey was in Mac and Cheese on Friends, where Joey, he was the cop, Mac Machiavelli, who was partnered with Cheese, which was an anagram for something cyborg robotic something. He's partnered with a cop, with a robot, sorry, and they're investigating like cheerleaders who have blown up and shit. I would have watched the hell out of Mac and Cheese. So I cannot wait for this sitcom with Jay and Tony Danza. Oh yeah, I've been complaining about this. I can't wait to watch that part. Also, John Corbett's coming back into it. I love John Corbett. I like the Aiden character, so yeah, I guess I'm looking forward to that too. I guess Samantha's going to be on the last episode. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed my little rant about that, even though I would be shocked if any of you troopers in the chat right now even know what I'm talking about, or if you also watched the show. So, okay. All right, let's go ahead and get to the super chat questions. I know there's a handful in there, so thank you so much again for watching, everybody. And thanks for these super chats as well. All right. Let me scroll up to the top so I don't miss any. Like, I didn't go the whole show without missing them last time. We had a good friend of the show who was like, hey, you missed some up there. Scroll back up. I'm like, okay, so I'm scrolled back up. All right. Danny McGraw says, hello, Brad. Have you ever considered reviewing Drop Dead Fred on the Snob? Also, have you shopped for a Snob suit for your son? Or do you think he'll be born wearing one? Well, I think that now. I do think he'll come out with, well, obviously he'll come out with my hair. And maybe my glasses and the facial hair, too. Yeah, I thought about doing Drop Dead Fred, actually. I have. but it's like everything else that I've thought about doing, where it's one of like a few hundred movies that are just on several lists somewhere, where it's like that might be something I could do. That's in the category of stuff I'd like to do, like that and Nothing But Trouble, which I love. I love Nothing But Trouble. And Little Monsters, the Fred Savage one. Those I've thought about doing for a long time. If I was to get to any of those first, it would be Nothing But Trouble. Good Bad Flicks has a great episode on that. Cecil, he did a great episode on Nothing But Trouble. So even if I never get to it, check his out. He runs through it really, really well. So yeah, but my wife likes Drop Dead Fred a lot too. Nothing But Trouble is one of her favorite movies. So those would be. I'll have to pick some out when when she's having her time off and everything. Pick some out that she also wouldn't mind watching with me. So maybe Drop Dead Fred will be one. Campbellzilla goes, are there any Disney movies you'd be willing to tackle for Snob episode? I love your unidentified flying oddball and Song of the South reviews. Yeah, actually. One of my favorites is Disney's Robin Hood. Grew up watching that movie, and I'd want to do an episode on that. Just a couple reasons. One, I adore the movie. I whistle the song all the time. Laura and I quote it all the time. Walter does a great Sheriff of Nottingham, and I would just want to play Alan Adale the Rooster in it, because I love doing that Roger Miller voice from it, where at the beginning he's like, you people out there have your versions of Robin Hood. Well, those of us in the animal kingdom have our own versions. I would just want to play the rooster. That's my excuse. That's my excuse for doing an episode on that. I did do it'd be in the category of Snob episode, like when I did That Darn Cat, another Disney movie. That Darn Cat's one of my favorite movies. So it would be like that. And I'd be playing the rooster. I have to order a rooster mask or something. Matt Florent goes, when and how long did you live in California? And what persuaded you to move back to Illinois? That was 2004. 2004, I lived in California. Didn't live there terribly well. I lived there for under a year. I was doing a lot of spontaneous stuff back then. So, yeah, I thought I'd give it a shot. I did do a lot of writing when I was out there. When I took a stab at writing a script for a class of 86, before later I turned it into a book. I did that when I was living out there. And I came back because I moved back to Springfield because I did miss my friends, that was deep into my partying days. So I missed my friends, and I missed partying with my friends. And living in Springfield is not expensive at all. It's cost of living is very, very good in Springfield, Illinois. So yeah, there was a lot of reasons. It was just, it kind of came down to I did miss it, like most of my friends and family being in Springfield. So that was why. Yeah, that was like, but Long Beach was nice. Long Beach is not a bad place to live at all. My mom's lived out there for over 20 years. 2001, I think she moved out there. My friend Kermit Wazowski goes, Lloyd and Chloe were easy to tell apart. Bert and Pearl, not so much. Any tips on telling them apart? They are more difficult to tell apart. Yeah, they are more difficult to tell apart than Lloyd and Chloe. I can tell them both apart. Bert is bigger. He's heavier. I don't know if Bert does something with his weight where he tries weighing himself down to gravitate towards the floor more. But he's heavier. Pearl is, she's lighter. She's longer too. Their face shape is different. Pearls she's got a little bit more of a pointy face. Bert, you can tell by his eyes and his frown. He has a very, very prominent frown, like Sluggo on Mr. Bill. Over on our Twitter, I put up that side by side picture. So in their face, you can definitely see a difference. But I do get that. Like if you're looking at it like a picture or on camera, even for us sometimes we're like, okay, which one is that? You know, if we're looking at a picture or a video, but it's all in the Bert frown and the Pearl eyes. That's maybe when they get a little older, it'll be easier to tell them apart. Carpo Agent 73. Speaking of binge watch, what happened to the Home Improvement episode? Yeah, sorry about that. I got I think what happened there was it's all written. It's just a matter of me going through there and shooting and editing the rest of it. Working on memory of reading those lines. But so I think that was around when I had to take a couple of breaks because I had to get some things worked out at the hospital and kind of take it easy for a little bit and get some tests done and everything. And so I think that was kind of what happened. There was some stuff that got pushed back because of that. Like I lost so much time that I had to jump back into doing one of the year-end reviews. And then because of that, just other projects kept coming up. But I am trying to free up enough time on Fridays now to do any kind of extra stuff that I want, provided I don't have a lot of newer movies to review. So I'm trying to squeeze that in where I can get the rest of that film, because binge watch is a fun show to do. I do like doing that, and when my son's here, it'd be a fun show to do during that as well. Eclectic Ennui. Are there films you won't review for the snob because of MST3K? Like with Manos. Yeah. That was why I didn't do a snob of Manos. I have a video on Manos where it's like 10 awesome things about Manos. And that was why, so I wouldn't. Yeah, I just didn't want to do the same thing again. It depends on the movie. Because, yeah, I wouldn't do just a regular snob episode on Manos. But I did for, like the Mask 3D. I did for Pod People just because that was kind of the gimmick of that episode. That I did this just as kind of a challenge to myself. A snob episode on MST3K, the movie. That was fun to write for. I did like writing for that one, but so I would maybe do one on Mitchell because of the extra scenes from it. I'd maybe do one on Iga, same for the extra scenes, and I really like Arch Hall Jr. movies. But no, I feel like, is there anything else? I'm trying to remember if there was any other episode I did that was also on like the new Mystery Science Theater other than Mask 3D. I can't remember, but yeah, it depends. Some I would, some I wouldn't. It kind of depends on the movie and how closely associated it is with it, or if it's like if I felt like I had something to add, like the extra scenes in Manos, or not Manos, Mitchell and things like that, then I would. Okay. Jacob Matthew Crawford. Evening, Brad. Have you seen the 2016 film, Walter Hill film, The Assignment? It has a plot to that lost film that I directed called Sadistic Bitch. I know that movie. Is that the one where like a hitman is injured and wakes up and someone gave him a sex change operation or something? I didn't realize that was a Walter Hill film. If it's the one that I'm thinking of, I know what you're talking about. I remember when it came out, kinda. I remember seeing it referenced a few times. And then even when I was just recently in Springfield a few weeks ago, one of my family members referenced it too, that they saw it. Maybe I should do an episode on that if it's the same movie I'm thinking of. If it is, I didn't realize till now that that's a Walter Hill movie. Now I totally got to check it out. Drunken Buddha, did you ever think about doing, did I ever think about doing any Elvis Beach movies for Musical March? Definitely. I was even thinking about, the last Musical March in September I did, I was going back and forth between whether I was going to do a bunch of Elvis movies and make it an Elvis themed month, or if I was going to do what I did end up doing, which was the band movies and the Hermits movie, the Dave Clark 5 movie, and those. And I guess I just wanted to do the band ones instead, even though I would love to do an Elvis movie month. I think that would be great. I do talk about Elvis movies in the 60s retrospectives. I do. With those, Wild in the Country was one, GI Blues was one. Flaming Star was one. I know I'm missing another one. Oh, Blue Hawaii. Those I've covered in the 60s ones. But yeah, I totally would. Yeah, I do. I do like Clam Bake and Speedway. Those movies, totally. Eclectic Ennui. I'm half joking, but would you see both Oppenheimer on Barbie on the same day? Bomb versus Bombshell. I saw a picture earlier. I think it was going viral or trending or something, where it was like an explosion of pink dust that someone took a picture of. They were on the highway, and they said, "Oh man, this cross promotion of Oppenheimer and Barbie is going crazy." Like someone watched the 1983 movie and we're like, we're gonna combine The Day After and A Night in Heaven. So yeah, I'll probably see him on the same day. I guess they're coming out the same day. If they are coming out the same day, then I'll probably have to see them the same day. It'll be the longest day I had recently was when I had the double feature of The Flash, and which I like. I really enjoyed The Flash. And Adi Perush, that was 3 hours long and not very good. But I think I was the only. So I think I was the only critic that didn't go that hard on the CGI in The Flash, because I saw it the same day as I saw that other movie, the Adi Perush. Like the CG in that, I'm not even kidding. It looked like something you would have seen direct to video in 2003. It was glitchy, choppy. It was horrifying looking. So then I see The Flash and I'm like, this looks okay to me. Like, it's not glitching. It's there. I know what it's supposed to be. It's not distracting me too much. Some of it I kind of chalked up to like a stylistic choice. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just kind of what was going through my head. So because of that, I was like, I got nothing to say about the CGI in The Flash. It was way better than this other thing I saw the same day that was 3 hours long. The babies look okay to me. Campbellzilla. Have I seen James Glickenhaus? Okay. I thought that said James Gandolfini at first. Have I seen James Glickenhaus's first film, The Astrologer, aka The Suicide Cult from '75? No, I didn't. I didn't. I like Glickenhaus a lot. Love The Exterminator. No, I didn't see that one. I should. It threw me off when I looked at that. When I thought it said Gandolfini, I was like, I thought I did the first movie that Gandolfini was in, where he was just kind of an extra in the background. So Shock, I think is what it was called. No, I didn't, but I like James Glickenhaus a lot. So, so I would check that out. All right, well. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Those are some great questions. That was fun. It was fun talking about all that stuff. You know, the chips were good. I hope someone doesn't show up in the chat. Like, has he tried the chips yet? Like 3 hours ago, dude. You missed it. You missed chips and me talking about Sex in the City for like a half an hour. All right. Well, again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Always a good time. And do if you want to pre-order our book on ebook, follow the link to the Amazon page in the description. I'll put one in the comments too. But if you want to wait for the hardcover and the paperback, all three of those, the ebook release date and the physical copies, it'll be out on July 7th. So, okay, got to do the most important thing of the show, and that is loading up the end bumper with the King Frat theme. All right, have a great week, everyone. I'll be here Friday with the review for Indiana Jones. Take care. Have a great week.
Everybody come and join the party.